The Madman emerges. Introduction to Mike Marcum and his early claims. Mike Marcum, known as Madman to some, was a man who existed on the fringes of both society and, if his claims are to be believed, time itself. He first emerged from obscurity in 1995, calling into the famed late-night radio show Coast to Coast AM, hosted by the legendary Art Bell. Bell, known for his open-mindedness and fascination with the unusual, provided a platform for Marcum's bizarre tale. Marcum, speaking with a nervous energy that crackled over the airwaves, claimed to have invented a time machine. This was no sleek device from a science fiction film, but a contraption cobbled together from salvaged parts, powered by something Marcum called a Jacob's ladder. Listeners, captivated by his wild claims and rough-around-the-edges demeanor, hung on to his every word. Marcum's story, already strange, took an even more bizarre turn when he claimed that his time-traveling exploits had landed him in trouble with the law. He spoke of stealing power transformers, necessary to fuel his temporal jumps, which had resulted in a blackout in his local area. He was vague on the details, but the authorities, it seemed, were on his trail. Jacob's ladder and stolen power. Marcum's method and the blackout incident. The Jacob's ladder at the heart of Marcum's alleged time machine was a curious detail. He described it as two vertical wires, gradually diverging, with an arc of electricity traveling between them. This high-voltage phenomenon, he claimed, created a localized distortion in the space-time continuum, allowing for temporal displacement. It was a crude but strangely compelling image, fitting for a man who presented himself as a self-taught tinkerer rather than a polished scientist. The theft of the power transformers, according to Marcum, was a necessary evil. His home-built time machine required an immense surge of electricity to function, a surge that the standard power grid simply couldn't provide. He claimed to have targeted industrial areas late at night, hoping to minimize disruption while acquiring the energy he needed. Whether his actions were driven by desperation or a reckless disregard for the consequences remained unclear. Marcum's account of the blackout incident was fragmented and contradictory. He alternated between boasting about his ingenuity and expressing remorse for the disruption he'd caused. At times he seemed to relish the notoriety, while at other moments he sounded genuinely frightened of the potential consequences of his actions. A voice from the past, a disappearance into the future. Marcum's second call and his vanishing act. Months later, in 1996, Marcum resurfaced, his voice once again filling the airwaves of Coast to Coast AM. This time, he claimed to be calling from the past, having traveled back to correct a mistake in his previous journey. His story, already bordering on the unbelievable, was now venturing into the realm of the utterly fantastical. Listeners were enthralled, debating the veracity of his claims on online forums and late-night talk shows. Marcum's second call was even more erratic than his first. He spoke of encountering historical figures, witnessing pivotal events, and even hinted at having met future versions of himself. He claimed to be racing against time itself, trying to set right a chain of events that threatened to unravel the very fabric of reality. Whether these were the ramblings of a delusional mind or the fragmented memories of a genuine time traveler remained a subject of intense speculation. Then, just as abruptly as he had reappeared, Marcum vanished. In 1997, he made a final frantic call to Art Bell, claiming that the authorities were closing in on him. He spoke of shadowy organizations, government conspiracies, and the terrifying consequences of tampering with the timeline. His voice, thick with panic, faded into static, leaving behind a chilling silence. Mike Marcum was never heard from again. The enigma endures. Marcum's reappearance, the lingering questions, and the power of a good story. Years passed, and the legend of Mike Madman Marcum faded into obscurity, becoming the stuff of internet lore and late-night campfire stories. Then, in 2015, a man claiming to be Marcum resurfaced, granting an interview where he reiterated his claims of time travel, attributing his long absence to a side effect of his temporal manipulations. He spoke of lost memories, alternate timelines, and the profound disorientation of experiencing time out of order. This reappearance, however, only deepened the mystery. No official records of a Mike Marcum matching his description, criminal or otherwise, have ever been found. Some dismiss him as an elaborate hoaxer, while others maintain that his very existence challenges our understanding of time and reality. The tale of Mike Madman Marcum, regardless of its veracity, continues to fascinate. It speaks to our innate curiosity about the unknown, our desire to believe in the impossible, and the enduring power of a good story. Whether he was a time traveler, a con man, or simply a man struggling with his own demons, Marcum's story serves as a reminder that sometimes the line between fact and fiction is as blurry as a transmission from the past.